Good morning and welcome to the EZFX Trading Room broadcast for Thursday, September 8th, 2016. My name is Bradley Freed, and for the next 20 to 30 minutes, you'll be joining me for a review of our watch list from yesterday. We're going to go through and check all the trades that we have on our list, see how they're progressing, setting up, if there's any management steps we need to take on the trades. And also, if there are any new trades, I'll go ahead and add them to the list, so we can get them into our process, start watching them, setting them up, and trading them. If you have any questions, I do have a chat room on this page. If you're watching live, you can post your question there, and I will answer all of your questions at the end of the broadcast together. If you're watching the recording, which most people seem to be doing, if you can send me a private message via the community menu, just go to community, members, and find me. I'm EZFX. You can send me a private message. There's a button on my profile. It'll all make sense if you go there. And we also have a trading room group, which I encourage you to join. And you can post there both to ask questions of myself or other members, or to post your charts, post your trade ideas, do anything you want to do, as long as it's trading related and keep it clean. That's all I ask. But and of course, you can contact me just by good old-fashioned email, ezfxsignal@gmail.com. The mail address is on the front page of the website, and I'll also post it on the chat at the end of the broadcast. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's review our watch list from yesterday. We were watching a euro-dollar buy and a pound-dollar buy. No, we weren't. That's the old list. Here's our list. For some reason, I keep doing that. Okay, we were watching a euro-Newsy buy. Then our newer open trades, we had a New Zealand yen sell, which was new, Aussie yen sell, which is open, euro pound buy open, pound Swiss sell, pound yen sell, euro dollar buy, dollar Swiss sell, Aussie dollar buy, and Aussie CAD buy, all open. Things have been progressing well this week. We've had some very nice results. Let's jump over to the charts now, and let's talk about the most recent results first. I have sent out signals on these. You should have received email updating you, telling you the trade was closed, if you need to move the stop to break even, any of those things. If you have not received email, if you're not receiving email, please send me an email, and I'll make sure you're on the list. So let's make sure that you're receiving the signals correctly. All right, on to the charts. So right away, some of the most recent things that happened since we last spoke is the Aussie dollar hit its final profit target, which means that at the furthest profit target, we were able to get like 150, so 152 pips or something like that. So that trade is done. Take it off the list. $152 pips. Now let's see, next we had the Aussie CAD. It hit its first profit target. Finally, it was open since August 22nd, finally got there. So we took partial profit at the 50% Fibonacci retracement level and moved our stop to break even. It's retracing a bit now, but we're still just holding on to this trade, and we're still following the plan and going to try to get to this 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level, which is just another 100 pips further up. So that's open, and it's finally doing a little bit of what we had hoped for it to do. The euro dollar has closed. Remember, previously we hit our initial profit target. Now we've hit the final profit target for 150 pips of profit. And I also sent out a signal just before I did this video on that, so you should have received that. So euro dollar comes off the list. $150 pips. All right, so going back to our list, let's look at this euro Newsy buy and see what's going on. Remember, we were watching that, and actually, while I was asleep, it fired off. So if you were watching it and you were ready, you got in this trade. And the plan is, when we had a close above this trend line, that gave us a combination of Class B divergence, a buy bubble, and a trend line break. So for a stop loss of 106 pips, you can go for the weekly pivot as your initial profit target at 200 pips or 199. Final profit target of the monthly pivot for 289. And that's proceeding rather nicely right now at the moment. If it does retrace, if we get it to pull back a little bit, you may have another opportunity to get into it. If you haven't gotten into it yet, it's already on its way. I'm going to list it as an open trade. It's just for risk to reward reasons alone, it's too late to get into this trade at this point in time. And I did not send this as a signal. It's just a regular open trade. Just for the record, just to clarify, I don't send every trade as a signal. Sometimes I don't see them. Sometimes I'm asleep. Sometimes they open up, but I already have enough trades open that I'm at my leverage limits on my account, and I just am not going to take another trade. I send you exactly what I do when I do it. So when I take a trade, when I actually take a trade, I send it to you. When I move the stop to break even, I take partial profit, I send you a signal right away. So you're following what I do step by step. And that means that not every opportunity we can take, because we're managing our risk, we're managing a portfolio of trades, we're working within constraints. And it just happens to be that this week, especially this week, it's gone extraordinarily well. That those constraints have served us well, and our choices have worked out incredibly well. Moving on, let's look at the New Zealand sell. That was a new trade because it hadn't moved very far. Let's see if it's finally done a little bit of movement for us. And it has dropped again. It hasn't made a new low, but it's doing better than here when we thought it would stop out. So it's still open. It's actually in the money a little bit. I'm still going for this monthly pivot down here, because if this really collapses, that means it's been weakening for a long time. And I think when it does let go, it's going to let go hard. And we can probably pretty easily get down to that monthly pivot. So still following the plan, still in the trade. And it's open now, and it's a signal trade. Hasn't been the smoothest, hasn't been as direct a route to profit as the others, but still in the game. Looking at the Aussie yen sell next. This trade retraced quite a bit. I did not send this out as a signal trade. It retraced back up really to the initial entry signal, so that you had an opportunity to go ahead and get into it again. If you had already taken profit here, then you stopped at a break even here and you're done. If you had not yet taken profit here, like if you were going for this monthly pivot, then you're still into it, or you had an opportunity to get into it again up here. But for our purposes, I'm going to say it's closed, just because that's the way we played it. And so we lost nothing, or a little bit of spread on the, or slip at the break-even stop. And we made 84 pips or 85 pips at the initial profit target. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let's just take the most conservative, most clear choice. That's a win for 85 pips. And it was not a signal trade. I did not send this out as a trade signal. So no stars. A euro pound buy, that's the next one we need to look at. This is doing extraordinarily well. It kind of had been moving sideways. It looked like it might want to drop, but then because it had a sell bubble. But that sell bubble has since moved on as the lines have repainted. It made a new high, showing some Class B divergence. We don't really pay attention to that. Divergence alone really isn't a reliable signal of reversal. Divergence with other things, however, can be a good reversal signal. And I'm still going for this initial profit target at the monthly pivot at 0.8518, and it's moving fairly smoothly in that direction. So it's still open, still following our original plan. Next, let's look at the pound Swiss sell. That's really the opposite direction of this same trade, and it's also moving well. Also showing some Class B divergence that we're going to ignore because it's simply not a reliable signal all by itself. little bit of a buy bubble maybe starting to form here, but the pair doesn't seem to care much about it at this point. I think it wants to get down to this monthly pivot. And so we're just going to hold on and follow our plan. Next, we have pound yen. Pound yen also finally started to drop again. I think, you know, as we've seen this, the funny thing is the dollar yen isn't really doing it. The euro yen definitely isn't doing it, but the pound is. So, I mean, all the impetus down is with the pound. So our pound Swiss is moving down, and our New Zealand yen even, I think, is being pulled by the pound a little bit just because the Commonwealth currency probably. I'm just speculating, but this pound yen is moving towards our final profit target, the monthly pivot at 133.5723, and we're going to stay the course on that one too. Next, we have our dollar Swiss sell. This trade was open yesterday, and it has moved even further down. So it's retracing a little bit here. Some Class B divergence, but there's a new fairly recent new supply zone up here. That's a mixed signal, which generally means continuation. So I would just stick it out, and your stops at break even. You've taken partial profit. This trade is already profitable. The risk is off the table, so you can go for your final profit target at 78 points at the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. I think that's fine. Next, we have our Aussie CAD buy. And this trade has, well, we already talked about it, hit its first profit target, so we moved the stop to break even. And we're still in it, but its risk is been taken care of. Now, in my Japanese trading room, there were some other pairs that people wanted to look at, and I want to share with you. One was the New Zealand dollar sell. And the other one is a dollar peso. And I hadn't really been paying attention to these, but these have set up. So let's go ahead and see what they're doing. These are both going to be new trades on our list. I believe they've satisfied the requirements for an entry. So let's look at the New Zealand dollar first. I'm not going to send out any more signals this week just because we've done pretty well. And I'm just kind of winding down my trading for the week now. So the New Zealand dollar, we had a sell bubble, Class A supply zone, and a trend line break. This trade is already really open. It's got to retrace to get in it at this point. But for 67 pip stop, the initial profit target at 50% Fibonacci retracement for 88. Final profit target at the weekly pivot at 137. That's very straightforward. So if this retraces back up here, I mean, you can still get into it at a 1-to-1, but it's kind of already started. But it's not impossible. It's not a complete violation of the rules to get into it right now. But if it retraces a little bit, that'd be even better. You'd get a discount on the entry price. But this, I'm going to call it open. And we haven't talked about this up to now, so I'm kind of just tossing this in here, and it's really not fair to you. But I just want you to be aware of what we talk about in the other trading room, and if there's a good idea, I want to kind of share those across languages, across groups. So dollar peso, this one was also, it was ready and it fired off, and it was really hard to get into. So I told my people to wait for a strong candle to close. This is almost too strong. Fired off, it hit that initial profit target, the monthly pivot right away. Yeah, you would have needed a 220 pip stop to get in right as that candle closed, and it just kept on going for 104 pips at the first one. So this is kind of a wash. I'm just going to not even put this up, unfortunately. Now, if it retraces, you might have a chance to get in. So I'll leave it as a new trade. How about that? And then if this pair tends not to, but because it moves so strongly, it may retrace for us and give you an entry opportunity right about down here at this daily pivot, or this 23.6% Fibonacci line. If it retraces down that far, you could buy it. And the target's again at the monthly pivot, and then the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement level above. That's kind of what I planned for this trade. We're not really watching anything right now. So let's put an NA there, and I think we're done. Let me just check real quick if there's any questions in the chat room. It's been a really great trading week. I've enjoyed trading with you. I've received email from several of you who are having a good time with these trades, and I'm really happy to hear that. Not every week is going to be this way. There's going to be weeks where we don't win very much. There's going to be weeks when we lose, but always enjoy the good times and understand that this is an extraordinary time. This is when this system and all our rules are working extremely well with these market conditions. And I wish every week was this way. I can't promise that, but I'm sure glad that you've made the decision to be a member of EZFX and you've been able to come along for this ride with me. And I'll do my best every week to bring you the best opportunities that I can find with the trading methodology that we trade here at EZFX. No questions on the chat room, but if you have a question, again, you can private message me, you can post a message to the trading room group, or send me an email, ezfxsignal@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Our next trading room is going to be on Monday, so I'll see you there. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.